touch the light, the heat I see in your eyes. In your eyes. In your eyes. In your eyes.
Why aren't you smiling? Are we rolling?
Yes, we're rolling.
Okay. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Happy day.
Yep, welcome to Getting Back to Me, Both Sides of the Story, with Marcy and Scottie, episode 32.
32.
That's right.
All right. And we're going to... You've already chosen a little snippet from your book, Getting
That's right.
Back to Me.
Every week we do a little section. Going forward, we're up to chapter 26.
Cool. And we get to talk about it together.
That's right.
Because it's your book.
That's right.
But I somehow was involved, so...
But everybody wants to know what Marcy's side of the story is, so that's why we're doing this.
Yeah. Until you can read my book, which is coming along, actually. Ha, ha, ha.
Pretty close.
Probably only have a chapter or two left.
Yeah, you're
I
getting
know.
close.
I'm getting there. So hang in there.
Yeah, okay.
But in the meantime, get Scottie's book. And if you have read it and you haven't commented, but reviewed it on Amazon, please do.
Please do.
We love reviews.
Add to the 5-star reviews. So far we've got 26.
Mm-hmm.
And half of them are from people we don't know. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So more is welcome.
Okay.
More is better.
That's right.
Okay. So which chapter again?
Shameless.
26?
I'm shameless.
I already sipped from my Zuzubine.
That's right. Chapter
Radiates
26.
Light, Laughter, and Love cup.
Buyfocals. And this is B-U-Y.
I think it's why though? What are we buying into something?
That's
not
right.
Like purchasing?
It means with these glasses on, you can only see what you accept.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Deep stuff.
As usual.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay.
It's intoxicating, this going from Scott to Scottie. But I think that's God's plan. The changes, when right, feel so good that the mind relearns to believe itself. And girlfriend, this takes work. It's been discredited by itself for so long. There is no fast way. You have to be willing to confront everything you thought you knew. There's been a lot of talk lately about the difference between the way a man thinks and the way a woman thinks. My love reminds me that for a period in our marriage, I spent a lot of time making this distinction myself, and she thought at the time that I was crazy. This was way before me coming out. But now thinks me uniquely qualified to have a perspective. I can remember testing everything against a metric that asked a simple question. Would this be how my mom would see it? Now, how would I know how or why my mom was thinking? All I can say is that there was a gut feeling, more like my heart, a pure visceral response that I had a shorthand name for. I called it a girl thought when I was younger, and a woman's thought as I grew up. Not only that, I would also know the exact molecules that form the border between a boy thought and a girl thought. This was something I spent some considerable time on with my therapist, who was fascinated by my ability to articulate this. The fact that I had mapped these regions of thought showed the depth of my desperation and ultimately my failure to suppress my true identity. So yes, I also know how men think. If we've learned nothing else in 2015, it's that individuals can be unique. We all have our gifts, skills, strengths, and weaknesses. But none of the 50, how many are there now, genders, can do anything as a whole better than the others. Show me a place where you want to make that distinction, and I'll show you the exception. Thank God, right? Still, as I come out, everyone asks what I am.
What you are?
Yep.
You mean like on the spectrum? Or?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
that's all the questions come from.
Okay. But I think what I resonate more with is the girl thought, boy thought part of it. And I think the what are you questions are like old news.
Yeah, they're definitely old news. That was 2015.
Yeah.
That was so last year.
Well, there's been a lot more education about the whole spectrum and everything.
It is weird. The questions I'm getting are changing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
way, or not at all.
Yeah, true.
That's old news.
But you were the first person who kind of called me on it. So why are you so fascinated with the difference between how men think and women think? And it was because I had adopted how men think in order to survive in their world. So I was a great student of it, and I was not a student. I didn't take the time to worry about how we think as women because that was natural for me. I always had to kind of go, okay, well, this is how I would normally do this. This is how the boys do it, so I'm going to have to pretend to do that. Part of that was saying it out loud and then constantly recognizing those distinctions.
Well, okay. I think one of the things I've been challenged with, though, is that I sense, we've had this discussion a lot, even a rigidity in you of drawing the line between man thought and women thought. And men thought and women thought, man thought and woman thought, whatever. And I'm glad you make the point in the book about we're all individuals and we have separate things, because I just see the line smudged more. And, I think a lot of the way, I also think it's changing. Just like you've gone through your transition, the world is going through a huge transition. And the men who are the men who think the way you think men think are diminishing. The hard, fast guy, eat the worm at the bottom of the tequila bottle, macho, selfish, insensitive, blah, blah, blah. There's just, I don't think we can pinpoint them much anymore. Or they stand out so obviously. But when I have brought that up to you, I'm also kind of doing it for your protection. I don't know if you know that, but because sometimes you've made it seem as if you think men are even the enemy.
I think I finally figured it out. As I'm hearing you answer this, I get why this is such a pothole in our joint understanding. As you still don't hear when I'm saying that there are differences between the way that men think and the way that we think.
Why do you conclude that?
I haven't finished my thought. I was just restating to get us to this point. You don't agree with even the restate?
Right.
Okay.
But go ahead anyway.
Yeah, I
think
I dare you. You're whitewashing or you're just sweeping what I'm trying to say into a category of protection. And I get that. You're trying to help me understand, as an elder woman, lessons that you know that I have not learned. This is true. About how to regard men. I am not regarding men in this fashion when I'm making the statements that I know the differences between the way the thoughts. Okay? Because what I'm saying is that it's a completely different way of getting to conclusions.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a completely different set of criteria. And we probably, if we were to line up the way men think and the way we think, across from each other, we would probably check all the same boxes. They just don't fire in the same orders. And their priorities don't happen in the same orders, and there's a whole bunch of them that they'll sweep aside in order to get the things that they want to get or think they're supposed to get. But part of it is also the way that they're raised.
Yeah, that's what
It's
I was
the way-
going to say.
Yeah, so I'm not judging them when I say that they have a different thought process about this.
Well,
Trust
thought
me.
process is okay.
Yeah,
Thought process is okay.
Yeah, because they're gonna get to certain places. I mean, the ways that they get there sometimes is like scorched earth.
But frankly, the same for us. Like, it hit me when you were saying you used your mother as an example.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the women of today are very much unlike your mother. Things have changed too much, and women today, and part of it is upbringing. Some of it, I think, is almost cellular, if you want to go back to the beginning of man and how we had to exist on the earth and survive. I think consciously and subconsciously deals were made between men and women. But as women gradually over time have been able to become more self-sufficient, how many women do we now have as friends who say, I don't need a man in my life?
Wow.
How much of that was my decision for us to be fine? If I was still operating under the I've got to have a man in my life,
Yeah.
we wouldn't be here.
True that.
So, okay, so I guess I'm just voting for the smudging. I'm really seeing men not operating. And I think it's good. I think, how I've sometimes said it's always blown my mind that even cartoon science fiction stuff from the old days turned out to be more of a premonition than not.
Mm-hmm.
Like wow, who knew spaceships and flying cars and robots and voice-controlled vacuum cleaners and driverless cars would actually be something even in our lifetime. And I remember feeling a little cringy when it felt like the prediction was that that we were going to be more unisex as time went on. It's like, really? But I think we're kind of in that arc where right now there's such a variety you can't pinpoint anymore, and that gradually we are maybe working towards that, where we become one. And it was kind of a diversion from the whole topic, but
I don't see it that way. I see it splintering more.
yes, and I think that's part of what's going to bring us together. Splintering apart is going to be what makes us go, okay, I can't point a finger anymore. I can't look at someone with a certain skin color and call them black because who knows what their heritage really is. I can't point at someone sometimes anymore and say, wow, that's a woman or that's a man. Because now the way people are acting, dressing, doing their hair, or even identifying themselves is not binary.
Okay, but okay, I'll give you that, but I don't see that happening in any of our lifetimes. I see
The coming together?
Yeah,
Well, how do you know?
well because I'm seeing the splintering happening.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in the middle of a war on women, and the thing is that there are half of the men don't know that that's what's going on. They're so blind. The half that do see that it's going on are cringing and going, "Oh shit! Hopefully this blows over before it causes any damage." But nobody's stepping forward to help.
That's not true. That's not true. And the superlative words like that, saying nobody, I think doesn't do service because we're not through the splintering process yet. Yes, there are still people that are very stuck in their end of the binary. I mean, there are women who are like that too, my
Oh
friend.
my God,
There are women
yes.
who are,
Yes.
so I don't think we're in the middle of the war.
Yeah, can I ask, how come those women don't just set your hair on fire? Why?
How do you know they don't?
You haven't said it. I'm with you 24/7. You've never said it. Why?
No, that's because I tweet to them directly and call them traitors. Like, how can you possibly hold this position? How is it even possible for you to be in your body and saying these things?
Well, but you said that. You said that your mother taught you, like, never to trust other women. It's like, how these women, like, that are in positions of being able to change.
Well, now you know
things.
why.
Why your mother said that?
Yeah.
I don't see how any one of those women think that they can walk out of the things that they're doing and look the rest of us in the eye.
Okay, but look at all the women in our life who are amazing, cherished, faithful, honest, true, deep, wonderful. I always think of the phrases like darkest before the dawn, or what Shelley said to us when he said, the brighter the light, the darker the shadow. So I don't think we're in the middle of the war on women. I'm maybe taking your thing too literally. But there's been a war on women
Forever.
I know. And the suffragettes, who wouldn't have hoped that getting the right to vote, getting the right to have, we still don't even have equal pay yet. So yeah, there's a whole long way to go. But this genie isn't going to get stuffed back in the bottle. And there are people on both ends of the spectrum, yes, who still betray it. But they're going to lose their vocal cords pretty soon. They'll just be outweighed, outshouted, outnumbered by the men and women who know this isn't fair or right. We have men standing up for women's rights.
We don't have enough of them. We have enough of them. They're going, oh God, I hope this blows over. Can I get back to my football game?
Over a certain age. Let's, and
okay, so let me
I just want to be more
hopeful.
hopeful.
Let me back up. You're right. And you said, radiate light, laughter, and love. Okay, so...
Yeah,
okay.
Let's look at the plus side. Our cup is half full.
I think the fact that I've been out there mapping the differences between boy thoughts and girl thoughts is that the world makes it so easy for boy thoughts to go on without anybody coming in and
okay, in some ways.
Okay. So since that's the case, that's maybe the place that we start to fix things.
What do you mean?
Well, I think, the whole criteria for how people are judged right now comes from a patriarchal view of how things work. That's the whole reason why there's discrimination against the LGBT community in the first place.
Well, okay. I also give a lot of power to the women who have been able to, whether men felt it or not, were still able to be very powerful.
Well, yes, but they've had to be powerful despite.
Yeah.
it.
So
yay, and they're inspirational, and
we're getting there.
Okay. Oh well, it's solved then.
I think so.
Good.
I do feel it moving. Do I get impatient? Of course. Do I get outraged at behavior sometimes? Yes. Maybe sometimes more at the women who don't. But how do you deal with problems like that come from just being blind? Because I think it's their upbringing too. Wherever those women, whoever taught them, we have a very dear friend whose own mother used to be very much for women's rights and now said to her, well, I don't care anymore because they don't affect me anymore, and you're old enough that they don't affect you either, so why do you care? It's like, what?
Right.
So, yeah, there's a long ways to go. But this is what we're about, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even what I said before about the fact that we're together, we are a living example of how things are changing. You definitely are. But really, that whole thing about me asking some of those questions that arose out of the binary system we were raised in, me more so because I'm, a couple minutes older than you are, of needing a man, wanting a husband, buzzsaw outside, and all that. I had to look at those and go, wow, do those really apply to me? I just kind of bought into them. So I think the more people can do introspection and go, do I need that anymore? Is that really me? Did I adopt that from my mother? Because, we've teased about my mother teaching me that, but I don't believe that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get where she was coming from at the time, and especially because of the era that she was in. And a lot of that, I think, stemmed from the fact that, especially still up through then, through World War II and so forth, was I born yet? Women competed for men. That's where that comes from. It was the point was, don't trust another woman because she can be your best friend unless or until you're both attracted to the same man. I mean, how sad is that? Then you're in competition with each other. So I don't buy that anymore. We love the women in our lives, and we also trust them and know that would never happen.
No.
So anyway,
well, I guess what we're asking is for the world to stop wearing bifocals.
That's right.
Stop.
Buy into our focals.
That's right. Stop seeing only what you can accept.
Yeah, and question. I suppose that's the bottom line. Take a look at your core beliefs and see if they really are your beliefs. Do I really believe this? Do I really believe that's what men are? Do I believe that's what women are? Do I believe this is what I need in my life or want in my life? Do I want a man or do I want companionship? What is it I want in a relationship? Et cetera, et cetera, et
Do
cetera.
you want a man or do you want somebody really pretty?
And on that note...
Wait, you didn't answer.
That was never part of my put it on a piece of paper, fold it, and offer it up to God wish list. Trust me. But anyway.
But I was on that list, wasn't I?
That's the essence. You, as a person, were. Not the plumage.
Okay, but the plumage is extra, girl.
Okay. We love you guys.
See you next week.
Radiate light, laughter, and love. And have a great whatever is coming up for you next.
See you next week.